An ISIS commander blamed for the death of a U.S. Marine was killed today by a drone strike in Iraq. The ISIS member was said to be behind the rocket attack that killed Staff Sergeant Louis Cardin and wounded 8 other Marines last month. Also engaged in the fight against ISIS with the help of U.S. forces are Kurdish soldiers, the peshmerga. Holly Williams has more on this.
For nearly 2 years, Iraq's Kurdish fighters have led the battle against ISIS. Known as the peshmerga, which means one who faces death, these Kurdish soldiers have helped claw back towns, villages and territory from the extremists. Nearly 1,400 peshmerga have lost their lives. In a war they're fighting without enough body armour or helmets to go round, with very few heavy weapons, and against an enemy that uses suicide bombs and booby traps.
The Kurds are not only fighting for themselves but for the rest of the world.
Masrour Barzani is the head of the Security Council in Iraqi Kurdistan, a region that's been plunged into economic crisis by the falling price of oil, with consequences for the peshmerga.
They haven't been paid for months at least.
They haven't been paid for 4 months?
No.
And they're fighting ISIS on the front line?
They are. They believe in the cause, but unfortunately they have families. They have people to take care of, and we don't know for how much longer they can stand in the front lines without being paid.
The Kurds say the war against ISIS has cost them billions of dollars, not only in bullets and fighters' pay, but because they've opened their doors to outsiders.
You've taken in 1.8 million people
Yes.
who have fled ISIS.
Yes.
That's a big burden for
Yes,
such a small place.
It is, absolutely. It has increased the population of Kurdistan by almost 30%.
And near the front line, just north of Mosul, a city occupied by ISIS, is another potential disaster. Mosul Dam, which was built by Saddam Hussein's regime on weak foundations, has fallen into disrepair, and dangerously so. Engineers warn that it could break at any time.
What would happen if the dam broke?
A large part of Mosul will be flooded in a matter of a few hours, and then anything on the way, all the way to Baghdad, it would take a few days to reach Baghdad, but it would be flooded, everything on the way.
The US says it could trigger a 45-foot-high flood wave on the River Tigris, endangering the lives of 1.5 million people in a part of the world already suffering the effects of another man-made catastrophe. Holly Williams, CBS News, Erbil, Iraq.